Good one. Would you want to be a part of this team after being thrown to the wolves at center on the last play of the game? And the 49ers gifted you a timeout to think about it. To just think about it and say, okay, we need to come up with something better. So far, the Cowboys haven't come up with anything better. I hate to say it, but they haven't come up with anything better. They just haven't. They're still the same old Cowboys. And they're not quite the same old Eagles. But what I love about this team is that they're starting to figure it out. What they need to figure out very quickly is the fact that you have a superior running game. When you went up 28-17, that should have been DeAndre Swift time for the rest of the game. That should have been DeAndre Swift time. Sam and I talked about this on Friday when I had him with me. That should have been DeAndre Swift. That should have been DeAndre giving the Cowboys, bad pun coming, a Swift kick in the ass. Even my wife's laughing at that one. But in all seriousness, that should have been DeAndre Swift time. It wasn't. But you got to thank the Cowboys for shrinking once again in crunch time like they always do. Let's go back to the 90s with the Dallas Cowboys that were led by Jimmy Johnson, not the 90s teams that were led by Barry Switzer, because Barry Switzer was a puppet. All right. He just got lucky in 1995. Jimmy Johnson wanted to step on your throat. When he put that team together and was getting more notoriety than Gerald, he had the attitude that he brought from Miami that he wanted to step on your throat. He wanted to step on your throat, man. Where's that attitude with the Cowboys? Because it has not been there for a while. It just hasn't been there. Okay? It just hasn't been there. And it hasn't been there for almost 30 years. And you're coming up on year 29 of not making the NFC Championship. And in the midst of year 29 of not making the NFC Championship, it just may come down to the point where you don't even make the playoffs. Let me go through this schedule again. Okay? I know I brought all my toys with me up here to Indianapolis. The next 4 games for the Cowboys: Giants, Panthers, Redskins, Seahawks. All 4 of them are very winnable games. And while we're talking about schedules, let's look at the next 4 for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're sitting at 8-1 right now. A Super Bowl rematch against the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Then they host Buffalo. Then they get the 49ers, and then they go to Dallas. 3 of those 4 are winnable. Matter of fact, I will tell you, all 4 of these are going to be a dogfight. The Eagles have 4 dogfights on their hands. But here is the significant difference between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles have been there lately and have done that. The Cowboys, not so much. Take a pause for a break. When we come back, it may be afternoon, but I had to get some coffee on the way here, and we're going to sip a lot more coffee. The CFL division finals have been set. The Jets are hosting the Chargers, and a whole lot more. The afternoon edition of Snowman in the Morning continues from Indianapolis, Indiana, in a deuce.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. You kids on the block. New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pistol 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen Xers, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Bobby J and Wise El Jefe, Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Man, it was a haul and a half getting here to Indianapolis, especially with all the stuff that's with me, the lights, the microphone and the boom and everything. And I don't know how I got all this stuff in my trunk, including my monitors. But through my wife's suggestion, she says, don't use the laptop, bring the big boy with you, since you're going to have to come back anyway. And it's going to be at night, because when I come back from here in Indy, gotta take my daughter to work, gotta play daddy. And I love being a dad. I absolutely love it. All right, enough yapping. I got someone waiting for me, and it is, give me this. And thank you to my honey, Jody, for this. It is time to sip some coffee. Man, we got a lot to get to. Ryan McCorfey now joins us. How are you, my friend? Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And just want to show what t-shirt I'm wearing this afternoon.
Let's see it. The Firebirds.
Go Birds, go.
The Firebirds.
These birds, not the eagles.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I want to get a shirt of every AFL team that's back. You know, I want to get a shirt of every AFL team that I used to watch: Iowa Barnstormers, Arizona Rattlers, Albany Firebirds, and I love both the Firebirds logos and both the Firebirds helmets that they have.
If my buddy Jeff Levac, team president, is hearing me, retro night. We need a retro night with the retro helmets, the Zubaz uniforms. Bring it all back, baby. Come on, let's go.
Got to have that. Got to have that. Ryan McCarthy joining us here as he does every Monday. All right. The CFL division finals are set, and one is a rematch. It's kind of the one
rematches.
They're both rematches. That's right. They're both rematches. Let's start in Toronto, and they're both on Saturday this year, as we've talked about before. 3 p.m. Eastern, the Montreal Alouettes take on the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah.
Nothing against the Alouettes, but good luck. Good luck stopping this crew.
And I'm an Alouettes fan too.
Right.
So it's gonna be a chore. It's gonna be a chore. I'm looking forward to it. Like, the Alouettes haven't beaten any of the good teams this year. They have not beaten Winnipeg. They have not beaten BC. They have not beaten Toronto.
No.
Playoffs are a different animal.
Way
Anything
different.
can happen in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to this game in a sense that I want to see which Alouettes team is going to come out. Is the team going to be the stout team on defense last week when they clamped down on the Hamilton Tiger Cats? Or are we going to see the imitation Alouettes from the past or the imitation of what their team should be, which is run the ball?
For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
They're at South Carolina State House to support an NIL bill. All the coaches, including Dabo, showed up for it. Drivers ordered fentanyl and other narcotics from their cars at a window of a Fort Worth house.
With over 30 years of experience, Madurix Butcher Block in Mineral Ridge is a quality-driven company focused on great personal service. Our fresh meats are of the finest cut. We make a variety of burgers, sausages, and a full line of deli meats. Using our own smokehouse, we prepare different types of jerky, snack sticks, kibasi, bacon, hot dogs, and bone-in hams. When your tummy needs some relief, call 652-BEEF. That's 330-652-2333. Golf in the Mahoning Valley starts at Mill Creek Golf Course. Come out to the 36 beautiful hole design course by Donald Ross, and golf lessons are available by calling the team shop at 330-740-7112. Don't forget about family fun nights on Friday and Saturday evenings, a family of 4 with cart for only $25. Or visit the Wick Recreation Area in the
High school, college, and pro football. There's one man set to bring it all to you. It's time for Just Football with Matt Emch. Matt was a first-time AP, all-offensive lineman with the Ursuline Irish and 3-time national champion with Youngstown State. And now, here's Matt.
And welcome to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emch. Welcome back, everybody. It's nice to be back. Always fun to get on the air and talk about one of my favorite things on earth. Obviously, we have just a small game this weekend. Nothing really of any account, but just a little bit of betting maybe that's going to be going on. What is everybody's feelings out there? Obviously, we can't have everyone call in at the moment, but just amongst yourselves, I'm about to have Jim Craving call in a couple minutes, and I'll ask him, what's your favorite part of the Super Bowl? I know even real football fans have had the commercial situation overtake the game sometimes for even real fans. Now, that's not most important to me. It's a big deal to me, though. I do care. I remember a couple years in the last, 5 that, there's been some really good ones. And while I do that, while I'm sitting here, I just realized that I have to connect something to my phone for Jim because I had surgery. I am not in the studio, which is one of the beautiful things about technology is, I don't have to be there. So I kind of broke the magic thought for everybody right now. I'm not in the studio. So if Jim is listening, which I know he is, if you could give me a call, and we're going to jump right into that commercial conversation. You just look at everything that they bet on every year. It's I don't have a list. I'm going to bring it up while I'm waiting for him. They pick on so many different types of, in fact, here is Mr. Craven. How you doing, Jim?
Oh, outstanding. Trying to wind down this crazy day.
It has been a long one for me as well. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it as always. And, I was just talking about with everybody, you look at all the different kinds of betting with the Super Bowl. And it has really gotten insane of the different types of things that they bet. So like I have right here, ESPN, betting roundtable. Well, that's just for touchdowns, but here's one. What is your favorite touchdown prop? I mean, they bet on anything, they bet on what color the Gatorade's going to be at the end for whoever wins and gets the Gatorade dunk to, whatever the halftime show people are wearing. But what I was just bringing up, which it's important to me and obviously important to a lot of other people. How do you feel about the commercials for the Super Bowl? Do you like seeing them?
Yeah, and I think that's become one of those things that have become traditional with it, and they pay so much for them now. I thought several years ago they were creative, and they've been okay late. But you go back to some of those original ones that when they really started making it a part of the production, and they were pretty entertaining. So if we're going to have commercials, if you got to go to that break because you got to pay the bills, then certainly I will take that. And everybody puts their best foot forward on Super Bowl Sunday. They
do. And it went from 1 to 2 million per minute, isn't it? I think it's like 2 million per commercial now.
It's astronomical, whatever it is, but the listenership is so worth it because it's from around the world, and and people remember that. They talk for months about it afterwards. You see them replayed on social media and whatnot. So depending on the size of your company or what you're trying to do,
here's what it says right now. They all have one thing in common. Those companies paid 7 figures to get their products in front of viewers during this year's Super Bowl. For the second consecutive year, the average cost of a 30-second ad spot, I was way off, during the Super Bowl was $7 million last year.
30 seconds for the world to see your product or your whatever.
If you got the money, it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't think I've got $7 million sitting around, though.
And if I did, I wouldn't be spending it on a commercial for the Super Bowl. I'd be buying.
Yeah, I want to be friends with that guy who has $7 million.
Exactly. What do you remember any that have specifically, really stood out to you over the last couple years?
Well, I think I'd have, and then this might be going back a ways. I'm not sure because I don't really, for whatever reason, as you get older, you forget things. But when they started doing the Budweiser commercials with the frogs, I thought that was hilarious.
It was.
And it was so simple and just kind of silly, but things like that. You had the Clydesdales.
I love the horses. Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, who doesn't? Right. So, and as long as they don't get too political, I think that takes away from it. But
they usually tug on the heartstrings of late, which I think they've done a good job. I agree with you. Please don't get, political or anything, but Doritos always has something freaking crazy and hilarious. Dr. Pepper's gotten strange with that. What is it? Dr. Pepper Town or something like that.
Oh, I think it's with Brian Bosworth.
Yeah, it's hilarious. If people always my favorite one out of any commercial they've done for that set is they're watching a game. It's the first game of the year, and they get stopped on first down or incomplete pass, and everybody says the season's over. And the lady runs over to the banister. They have all the food and the drinks and everything. She screams something, "I can't take it," or saying, throws it all off. I laughed so hard when I saw that. I rewound it like 5 times. It was hilarious.
Well, when you're a Cleveland Browns fan, sometimes that's a documentary, not so much a commercial.
Well, I'm glad I'm a Steelers fan then.
Yeah, you have something to at least celebrate. Maybe not of late, but
no.
When you haven't had a losing season since nobody can remember, that's a good thing. But you look at those commercials, like that's funny, and then you're like, oh, that's kind of me every September.
Some news actually, since you brought up Cleveland, some more talk about Joe Flacco. He may not be as gone as we talked about last week.
Yeah, and I think they're going to create their own a very tense situation there because of what Flacco did this year in the latter part of 23 going into 24. And if the first time Watson doesn't perform, there's going to be a call for Joe Flacco. And I don't know if they're ready to handle that dynamic as much as I think Joe Flacco is the temporary answer for right now. They're committed to Watson, and they've brought in Ken Dorsey now that they think that they can build an offense around Deshaun Watson. For whatever reason, you read things that he doesn't like scripted plays and that. So I don't know what their idea is there, but that's going to create an interesting dynamic when you have a fan favorite backing up a guy who they were skeptical of to begin with, considering all of his legal troubles and the fact that he was off for, I believe, 2 seasons. And and many times the Cleveland Browns have the ability to create their own problems, and they may be doing that very well again.
Well, I say it all the time. I'm glad the rivalry's back. I'm glad it's gotten competitive again. I'm still of the mindset that Pittsburgh and Baltimore is the meanest rivalry in the NFL, but I am very happy that the Steelers-Browns rivalry has gotten, much better. Competitive, goes both ways, is starting to get ugly again. But I am not, one of those fans for either team that hates them no matter what. I've heard many Browns fans, I cheer for anybody who's playing Pittsburgh. When we're not playing the Browns, I swear to everybody listening, even though I'm a Steelers fan, I wish the Browns the best. I want to see you guys get a Super Bowl. I mean, I do.
Well, I think you're more likely to see Pittsburgh get a 7th one as opposed to,
I'm down.
One, but and let's admit I was going to say the AFC Central. How far does that go back? The AFC North is an outstanding division, and they're competitive. 3 out of 4 teams made the playoffs this year, so there's something to be said for that when it comes to being competitive, and that's a great thing, But I think when you're a player, you look at rival teams a little bit differently. I think you and I can say if Pittsburgh's going on there and Cleveland doesn't do well, we want to see somebody win that from the division. We want to say, hey, look, we come from the toughest division in football, and arguably they certainly can say that with the AFC North.
Yeah, definitely one of the best ones, definitely the hardest hitting. I think the most well-balanced. We were talking about that one ESPN article that I had sent you earlier, the Super Bowl picks. Experts predict 49ers Chiefs score MVP. I had sent that to you, didn't I? I thought we were.
Yeah.
So real quick, they're saying, let's see which player will win. Let's see who they want. MVP. They're saying the Chiefs have the advantage 49-15. What are your thoughts on that one?
What was the advantage? I'm sorry.
49-15 is the advantage. The Chiefs have the advantage 49-15.
Yeah. Something like that. I think they go a little bit overboard here, and it's gonna come down to game day. How healthy is everybody? How focused? How many young guys do you have on your team? Are you able to, manage the pressure? And firsthand, it's getting to those first 2 or 3 drives where you try to get those nerves calmed down and you survive that adrenaline, and then I think we'll start to see something. But that's to me, that's a really wide gap.
I agree. 49ers are quite a bit better. I would be very careful. The Chiefs are repeaters. They know how to win. They're definitely a dynasty. They have lucked through a couple games. I would not be picking that. That is just corkboard material. They have first pick Patrick Mahomes, and then Travis Kelce, and then let's see, those 2 for the Chiefs, and then for the 49ers, they have Christian McCaffrey first, and then Brock Purdy. First of all, who do you think is going to win? Who's your pick, and then who would you pick for MVP?
Well, my heart says San Francisco, but my wallet says Kansas City. So they seem to pull that out. They seem to be able to play into that late 4th quarter, and not that Brock Purdy hasn't developed and become a great quarterback. He really has, but Patrick Mahomes has just had a knack for high, tense situations, for being under pressure. And, I said I'm a Youngstown guy, but.
All right, we're going to do the Chiefs, and then I'm going to pick the 49ers, everybody. Upset. Thanks, Jim, for being here. Appreciate it. We'll be right back, everybody. You're listening to Just Football.
Cryptid Creatures. Find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. Hi, it's Brian. Join me and my co-host Todd as we investigate those things that go bump in the night. We'll talk to real people who have had real face-to-face encounters.
There's two of them across the creek at the big rocks.
With cryptid beings, from Bigfoot to aliens to even demons. By the end, you'll be asking, do I believe? Cryptid Creatures. Find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you tired of settling for mediocre wings at sky-high prices? Belleria Niles has some of the best wing prices in Trumbull County, with 12 wings for $10 with over 15 flavors to choose from. Mention this show, Just Football with Matt Emch, with your order and receive a free cheese puff until January 31st. Belleria at 602 Robbins Avenue, Niles, Ohio. 330-544-FOOD. That's 330-544-FOOD. Belleria, we sell taste one bite at a time.
Do you crave mysteries? Are you fascinated by the unexplained? Then summon your courage and plunge into the deep, dark abyss of what lurks beneath. A YouTube channel that dives into the unexplained, the supernatural, eyewitness reports, and more. The real question is, can you handle the truth? Simply search What Lurks Beneath on YouTube, if you think you're brave enough.
From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emch. We are going to go right to the lines, everybody. We have got some new guests on today. We have John Galbraith of the Mahoning Valley Federals' new semi-pro football team. John, how are you doing?
Good. I have Coach Dominic Harris on here too with me.
And Coach, thank you for being here, sir. Very exciting time for you. Where are you guys at right now with it?
Currently, we're doing some off-season workouts. Coach has been handling that. Been inside right now at utilizing Take the Field in Warren and athletics and Columbia.
Well, before we get too deep into the actual, specifics of everything that's coming up, can you let everybody know, who each of you are, a little bit about your background and what we're doing here tonight?
Okay. My name is John Galbraith. I'm the co-founder and vice president, general manager of the team. I've coached high school, been at the high school level right now for the past 16 years, coaching specialists, kickers, punters, etc. Kind of been around as far as coaching aspect with the high school for many years. Been at Fitch, Mooney, East, and Valley Christian. And currently me and Mike Benner decided to put a team out here in Mahoning Valley because it's a very rich football town.
You can't beat Northeast Ohio in general, but then you pull back a little more and you get to the Youngstown, Warren area or the Tri-County area, and coaching cradle, both college and NFL. People are going to big schools left and right out of high school. So definitely one of the richest football traditions in the entire country. Coach, how about yourself? Can you give everybody a little quick backwards bio on yourself, please?
Yeah, my name is Coach Dom Harris, senior. This is my first year. I'm a rookie head coach. Really excited about that. Quick background, football background. I played in high school, Euclid High School. I coached a couple years through the little leagues in the community. I got, my sons attended LeBray High School in the area. So I've just been a football advocate of the area pretty much. I know a lot of the kids that play from little league all the way to high school out here. I've probably been in this area now since probably 2004. I moved there from Euclid, Ohio. Can't say just a quick bio like that. Other than that, just like I said, this is my first year being a full-time coach at for the Mahoney Valley Federals. My sons joined the team last year. I was a player first, and then I ended up being a coach, and I'm here now.
Well,
Yep.
we'll jump in for everybody. How did you get contacted, Coach? By these two gentlemen about possibly coaching the football team.
Well, my son plays football with one of the players from last year. So it really was a side quest. I have to be honest. One of my son's friends came over and said, "Hey, man, it's a semi-pro football team out here practicing, and the season's about to come up." And me and my son decided to go down, and we checked things out, man. And it was like an open opportunity, man, to do something amazing. And we just ended up sticking with it, man. And we're, as a family and a unit, we really bought into it. So that's how I got introduced, man. And I ended up being getting really cool with the coach, passionate. He gave me an opportunity, man, to really lead the team. And it's a big story about that. He about Coach believing in me and taking the head of the team, man, and seeing what we can do.
Well, talking about other coaches on the team, can you, either of you or both of you, let us know who some of your assistants are?
Yes, we got Coach Robert. He's an assistant coach, OC. He was highly recommended through Mike Benner and some other guys. He's doing really well. We got I brought in Coach Barry DiMattia. He's going to help me anchor the defense. He also has a son that plays for the team, has really good experience in football knowledge of the game, and the area and the athletes. We got Coach Moody. John does play manager, but he's also a coach too. He's highly respected on the team. Everybody loves him as well, and everybody else. So we got a really tough crew. We got Coach Daniel. He's a military man. Everybody loves him as well. Everybody likes him as well. He does his thing on the sideline for us. We got a pretty exciting group. We got a full coaching group now that we got, that we can anchor with us, and just as well as the team.
What positions do you coach?
Well, I pretty much coach the defense linebackers. I would say more so linebackers. I would say for the offense, the run game, along with one of the players. He's a really good experienced player. Abe, he's our team captain. We got a couple of running back coaches, but we kind of we've been putting everything together since we was a small team. So pretty much the players help as well. Really high IQ players, man, have really helped pave the way for us too as well.
Well, I have a very positive memory of, the Western Reserve Scourge, who was a Youngstown semi-pro team, and they won the championship, did very well. You get such really good players of different ages. Oh, you know what? It is, correct me if I'm wrong, is Eddie DeFlorio coaching with you guys?
We're talking to him this year. We're still not sure if he's going to come over or not.
Well, he is coaching at Fitch.
Last year. The two coaches that we had, that coach brought in, his son played for Liberty High School. He was a quarterback there, correct, Coach?
Yes, Derek DiMattia. He was a quarterback and a linebacker.
And we've seen what he was, just through Coach knowing him and me kind of remembering local athletes here. and remembering his dad being involved with his son as far as preparing him for playing high school ball and working with him like that. He was, Coach Dom highly, recommended him, brought him on his staff, and he's really working with our quarterbacks right now, really helping out. And then Rob Humberg, he's actually from the Ashland area. He had a short stint in the USFL until he had had a surgery on his knee. He's coached in the Ashland area as well, at the high school level also, and he coached some of my pro teams. And he came over with us, so he's working with us on there. And Coach Dom's really putting a really good staff together. We actually met Coach Dom last year. His two sons came over and were actually playing with us last year, and Coach Dom was always around and everything, and he had a good rapport with a lot of our players. Working with them at the youth level all the way up till they were playing at La Brea and other area high schools. So we felt that bringing a guy like Coach Dom in, knowing these players and everything would be a good fit for our organization, and he's really been a blessing to us.
Well, mentioning the organization, we're going to have Mike on actually after you guys get off. So I don't want to steal any of his, answers to anything, but just in terms of, without taking anything away from what he's going to talk about, John, how did you, at least from your end of things, how did you two get this thing really to the point where you're like, we're really going to be able to do this?
Well, so like I said, I've been coaching in the area for close to 20 years. And I've seen a lot of players, great players, from our area, come and go. A lot of them were blessed to get the opportunity to go Division I, Division II, and even smaller college routes and stuff like that. But then I also seen a lot of kids just didn't have that opportunity. Still wanted to compete. Still wanted to have a second chance, have a second opportunity at playing. And that's how I fell into it. I actually had a former player at East was traveling up to play for a team called the Area Express.
Mm-hmm.
And I just ran in. I've known Mike for a long time. We actually met through semi-pro close to about 16 years ago when there was Ohio Red Bulls in here. He was on the coaching staff, and we stayed connected. And I told Mike, I said, you know what, Mike, there's really a need for a team down here.
Agreed.
We knew, we've seen how the past teams, like, I guess the area doesn't, they understand the high school history of how prestigious, our area is with high school, and YSU with championships, and, Mountain Union, and, those type of colleges and everything like that. But also they don't know I don't think our area really understands the history and the prestigious history of semi-pro football here.
Well, Ryan Bonacci, actually from Ursuline, he played for the Red Bulls.
Exactly, and that's exactly. Now, again, I'll get into that with Ryan X.
And thanks to Jim Craven, real quick, for telling me that, Jim and Coach Gessler, Bob Gessler, that both own the radio station. They, Coach Gessler coached at the Scourge, and Jim played for many years.
So it kind of all comes in full circle, because me and Ryan were friends. We actually met through semi-pro when we played for the Ohio Red Bulls. And I actually coached with Coach Gessler at Valley Christian.
That's awesome.
So everything kind of did. I seen how Coach Gessler and Jim took the Scourge and kind of built off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to build off that. And, going back with the history of semi-pro, we're going back to, the Youngstown Patricians. That was the first semi-pro team in the area. It was many people don't know about that. A church, St. Patrick's Church, actually funded it, and they actually won a championship, and that was in the 20s. And then you go to the you go to the Youngstown Hard Hats. And then you go to the Ohio Red Bulls, and you go to the Scourge. I mean, there's just so much history in the semi-pro.
There is, and just for everybody in the town, I wanted to thank the two of you. We've got to go to a break, and Mike's going to come up next. But I wanted to give both of you a real quick opportunity. If there was something that each of you could say to all of the fans in the Mahoning County area, what would you say?
If you like good hard-nosed football, and you want to watch some good football in the springtime in an affordable place, come check us out.
Coach, real quick.
I would say we're gonna compete.
Awesome.
We're gonna compete, man.
Well, we can't wait to hear. I'm sorry to cut you off, Coach. We're about to break. Thank you guys for being here, and we cannot wait for the Mahoning Valley.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are you tired of settling for mediocre wings at sky-high prices? Belleria Niles has some of the best wing prices in Trumbull County, with 12 wings for $10 with over 15 flavors to choose from. Mention this show, Just Football with Matt Emch, with your order and receive a free cheese puff until January 31st. Belleria at 602 Robbins Avenue, Niles, Ohio. 330-544-FOOD. That's 330-544-FOOD. Belleria, we sell taste one bite at a time.
Do you crave mysteries? Are you fascinated by the unexplained? Then summon your courage and plunge into the deep, dark abyss of what lurks beneath. A YouTube channel that dives into the unexplained, the supernatural, eyewitness reports, and more. The real question is, can you handle the truth? Simply search What Lurks Beneath on YouTube, if you think you're brave enough.
In the Valley, football is king, and the Mahoning Valley Federals are looking to build the 2024 roster with talent forged in this area to compete for a Tri-Point Football League championship. If you're 18 and older and looking to return to the gridiron, call General Manager John Galbraith at 330-540-1099 or visit the team on Facebook at Mahoning Valley Federals Developmental Football. The Mahoning Valley Federals, honoring the football tradition in the Valley. From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emch. I just wanted to apologize for having to cut Coach off. Last time we had to do the time breaks, and we are about to go to commercial. So I really apologize, Coach, but that won't be the last time he's on. We're going to go right to the lines and bring Mike Benner on. Mike, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you doing today?
Doing well. We just had a couple of your men on with us, and now we get the head guy. So jumping right into it, how did this seed, get planted with you? How did you start to get this rolling around?
Oh, I've been doing this now for 39 years in semi-pro football. I started as a player down in Fort Lauderdale for a team called the Fort Lauderdale Rattlers. And that's where I got my coaching background started as well in Fort Lauderdale. But I watched the semi-pro players in South Florida, and I saw the quality of it as a young man. And I said there had to be something that I could do to work with this type of program. And I played for 3 years down there, and then came back to upstate New York, where I live in Rochester, New York. And in 1994, after playing semi-pro in Buffalo, a friend of mine, Rick Gauze, and I started a team in Rochester called the Rochester Warriors in 1994. And that's where it all started for me as far as owning and coaching at this level.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to jump into, John had spoken about, the rich history of obviously not just Youngstown, but Warren, the Tri-County area. Obviously, you guys will be pulling from those areas and more. What does the history of the Youngstown area mean to you?
Like I said, I came here to Northeast Ohio, and as a coach with the Ohio Red Bulls, and I saw that talent, and I started learning about it and how Youngstown, Ohio, and Northeast Ohio in general, that they eat, sleep, and drink football 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I watched, their reaction to the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I just see the passion that the people in Northeast Ohio have. The players are just absolutely fantastic. I've watched some of the greatest plays I've seen. Not even just semi-pro. It was they look like NFL players. Some of these fellows are really big. Some of the teams we play have offensive linemen that average 340 pounds. And you've got running backs that run 4.4, 4.3, wide receivers that are mostly taller than 6 feet. And it's just really crazy in Northeast Ohio. Youngstown's history, it speaks for itself between Youngstown and Canton and Cleveland. It's the hotbed of football. And the best players, in my opinion, come from Northeast Ohio.
Agreed.
And to be able to put a team together of these young men, it's a privilege. To me, it's a privilege to be part of this. Coming from where I came from, where football in New York State is not as big as it is in Ohio and even Western Pennsylvania. And then I see the rivalry between West Virginia and Ohio and Pennsylvania. It's absolutely crazy.
Well, Mike, I'm glad you brought up the players, because I specifically didn't really want to hear about anything specific from Coach and John on the last call. Is there any now? Obviously, first of all, wait, how many players are on the team? Let's get that out of the way.
Well, last year, our first season, we had sometimes 22 guys. We traveled to West Virginia 4 times with 17, and this year our players are above 40 now.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, now obviously you're seeing the players that you have, but looking at the other teams, I'm looking at the 2024 semi-pro football schedule for the TPFL, and looking at the Federal's whole season. 8 games, I believe. 1, 2, 3, yes.
Yeah.
So you play, as we have mentioned before, you go all the way to Erie, West Virginia, Canton, Newcastle, Appalachian Thunder. Where exactly are they? In what part? That's West Virginia. What part is that again?
That is it's northeast West Virginia. Down near Wheeling.
Right. So looking at what you have right now and your knowledge of what's been here already, what is your honest opinion about how you guys think that you're going to compete with these other programs?
Well, we're going to be very good. You know, I want to be honest. We took in a lot of players from another team that played in Youngstown for 3 or 4 years. So we now really have a combined squad. And I think with the combination of that, the two teams, they were known as the Rough Riders last year and the year before that. People looked at us and said, you guys got to get together. This is going to be incredible if your two teams come together. And they were right. I believe we're going to run it. I think we're going to run the whole gamut. And that includes a team like the Erie Express,
which are really the cream of the crop up till, you know, lately.
Well, they are. Yeah, they're rebuilding too, but we also on the schedule now, as of today, May 18th, we're going to play the national champions. They are the Gladiators, and they're from Lyons, Ohio.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so we're not running away from any challenges. In fact, we invite the challenge because the better the competition, the better our players get.
I love that you just said that, Mike, because, you know, when I am calling games, be it, you know, high school or, you know, I did have done games semi-pro before and some college. The one thing that is always the constant that I bring up every single game with whoever I'm calling games with is strength of schedule. You have a weak schedule, you get to the playoffs, you're in big trouble. So I love that mindset because it's only going to make you better. I agree. Is there any players, Mike, specifically that have really jumped out at you right now that maybe you can mention names that maybe some people might, you know, record that in their head, so to speak, and remember that name for the season?
I don't.
We'll keep it's a team mindset, right?
Yeah, it is a team mindset. And, you know, this Saturday, we'll be practicing at athletics complex down in Columbiana. And it's going to be a 7-on-7 passing. And we invited another team from Newcastle to join us. That's really where we're going to get to view the players all out in their helmets and shoulder pads, because it does make a difference whether you're wearing shoulder pads and helmet versus no gear at all. So our best shot this coming Saturday to see who's going to stand out during practice. They just work on the basics, and good young ones. I heard the names were mentioned in the last interview you guys did, and you know, I don't want to. I'm not a finger pointer. So
yeah, I like that mindset. You know, we have about 30 seconds left. If there was some message that you could send out to all the fans, the new fans, people thinking about coming to watch you guys this year, what would you say?
If the area wants to see some exciting young talent, the possibility of guys going to the pros to the next level, they should come and watch the Federals play this year.
All right.
You will not be let down.
We love it. Thank you so much for being here, Mike Benner. We'll have you on again, sir. Good luck this season.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Experience nature's bounty with Creation's Backyard. Elevate your health with the most nutrient-dense foods on earth. From farm to table, sustainably cultivated with care. grown locally in Niles, Ohio, with no chemicals or synthetics ever. Unlock your culinary creativity with Creation Backyard Microgreens. Convenient local delivery and pickup options available. Order now at creationsbackyard.com or call 330-282-7208.
In the Valley, football is king, and the Mahoning Valley Federals are looking to build the 2024 roster with talent forged in this area to compete for a Tri-Point Football League championship. If you're 18 and older and looking to return to the gridiron, call General Manager John Galbraith at 330-540-1099 or visit the team on Facebook at Mahoning Valley Federals Developmental Football. The Mahoning Valley Federals, honoring the football tradition in the Valley.
SNK, painting your house today. SNK, painting your house
SNK Painting provides exceptional painting and refinishing services to the Mahoning Valley and surrounding communities by being an industry leader in our field, focusing on customer service and delivering extraordinary results. We offer interior and exterior painting, and we specialize in cabinet refinishing with affordable cabinet solution. Call SNK Painting for your free estimate at 330-505-1910.
SNK, painting your house today.
From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emch. Just said goodbye to the owner of the Mahoning Valley Federal Semi-Pro football team, Mike Benner. But we're going to go right to the lines again. We have Mark Means on the line. Mark, how are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Doing well. We're getting some excitement going. Hopefully, your opinion, Mark, on having a semi-pro team here in the Youngstown area. Again,
we've always had a great tradition of successful semi-pro football teams, from the Hard Hats, of course, to the Scourge, who won their championship, it seems like, in just a few years ago. So, it's good to continue that tradition because we love our football in the Valley.
And, I don't see any reason why that they should not get good crowds. Let's be honest, everybody. Who doesn't? I know two people talking right now. We get depressed when the Super Bowl's over. How could you not be excited to have competitive football in the Valley, right after, not long after the Super Bowl ends? They're starting, just to let everybody know, they're starting their season on June 1st. It's a home game. And they were using is St. Christine's Field, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So they had used before the old LeBray Stadium, but that one just doesn't cut it for them. And I have not been to St. Christine's. Have you, Mark?
No, I have not, but I've heard good things.
I have too. So that's where it'll be, everybody. So anyone, especially from, the Austintown West Side, Boardman South Side area, not going to be hard for anybody to get to those games. Jumping into, though, Mark, with high school, some high school football news.
Yes. Well, let's start with this. I've got some news since you and I talked this afternoon.
Okay.
So my colleague who works for 1240 Sister Station in the Shenango Valley has started reporting on high school football schedules involving teams in Western Pennsylvania for the fall.
Nice.
And the interesting part about that is that they reported a couple of matchups involving cross-border matchups. He reported that Ursuline and Farrell will again play this year like they did last year, which is exciting to know. And here's a new one. He is reporting that Niles will host Hermitage.
Oh, wow.
Hickory High School over there in Hermitage in a matchup this upcoming season at Ball Ryan Stadium.
That's very interesting. That's a very good program in Western PA. Hickory has for many, many years, every year I see them in the playoffs pretty deep. So very competitive team. And then, that game with Ursuline and Farrell was legendary.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those where, they played last year. I actually called that game with Dave Clark and my cousin Mark Means, the former West Middlesex head coach that you know.
Right.
And it was a fantastic game. And good to see that game is going to continue. Farrell has a beautiful new turf facility that they just christened a couple of years ago. So that should be a great game as well.
Oh, yeah. I remember the 1 year before that Jim had actually called it. And I remember him telling me, that's the fastest high school football game that I've called maybe ever, seeing those players on the field. And they've both been super competitive, good games. So definitely something good for the Valley. And again, we're touching on, Mark, strength of schedule. You got 2 programs in the area that want to go far in the postseason. Those are definitely 2 teams you play to get better in the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to schedule up. I mean, we saw Hubbard have a home-and-home with Greenville the last couple of years. So it's one of those where it's getting tougher and tougher, especially let's be honest, especially for the really good teams, find teams that want to play them. So when you get an opportunity to play, probably the premier team in Western Pennsylvania in Farrell and a very good team in the Hickory Hornets, you jump at that opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to it, as I look forward to all high school seasons, especially. We also discussed something else pretty important for the Valley earlier, and that was National Signing Day.
Yeah, round 2 of National Signing Day, several local athletes making their commitments to a multitude of programs. And I think one thing, and me, because, I've become a Division III guy. I've worked for Grove City for 14 years. I support that level of college athletics. But we saw a lot of Division II and Division III players, committing to schools today. And that's just as important as guys going to Division I or, FCS programs. If you have an opportunity to play at the next level, it's special no matter what level it is.
Oh, 100%. You look at, I don't know the numbers right off the top of my head, but you drastically drop numbers of players that will further their career in college. So it's an amazing gift that you're able to further it. And, some guys, that could be the beginning of them furthering it. Yet again, it doesn't matter how big the schools are. We all know some of the greatest professional football players in history have come out of some of the smallest schools in the country.
Right, and we've seen, players committing to Division I programs all the way to a Liberty player committing to Coffeyville Junior College in Kansas. And most people don't know a lot about, JUCO football, but that is top-notch, elite-level junior college football, and a lot of those guys that go there end up at bigger programs down the road.
And I love that you brought that up, because one of the things I remember when I was playing at Youngstown State was a couple guys coming from junior colleges, and they came and immediately played and were huge parts of that 4-year span, that 91 through 94 that we went to a national championship every year, just plugged in beautifully. So, they really, put the shine on the trophy, so to speak, for coaches at those junior colleges. They don't get enough credit, those coaching staffs.
I don't think it's not about talent. It's about opportunity. And if you get the opportunity, you have to take advantage of it.
Well put, well said. Speaking specifically of which players that is out there today, do you have a list of some of the players of where they're going to be going?
You know what? I just got to the phone before we started talking, so I don't have the list in front of me.
I have from WKBN TV 27. This was at 5:16 p.m. tonight. Austintown Fitch sends 6 more football players to college level. Let's see. Senior Xavier Dawn committed to Ball State University, 6'3", 265-pound defensive lineman, chose the Cardinals over Toledo, Kent State, Miami, Temple, Towson, and more. Quarterback and safety Deshaun Vaughn, who was just incredible over the last 4 years, signed with Ohio Dominican University. He threw for 1,892 yards his senior season and accounted for 18 total touchdowns. Also recorded 45 tackles on the defense for the Falcons. Wide receiver Dan Evans III committed to Clarion. He broke a school record with 60 receptions last fall. He amassed 687 yards, 9 touchdowns, 24 tackles with 3 interceptions on defense. He also blocked 2 kicks and returned both of them for touchdowns last season. They were both Vaughn and Evans, by the way, were members of the WKBN Big 22.
You know what, Matt? I covered Fitch twice last year. I got to see them beat St. Ignatius and lose to Massillon. And Coach Parker has done wonders with that program on the field and off the field, with putting that many players over the last couple of years to the next level.
They have, and they are doing a really good job. Here's some more players. Joining Evans at Clarion will be Donovan Bell Sullivan, 6'2", 225-pound lineman. Fitch senior Deshaun Johnson signed with Lock Haven University. He stands 6'7" and weighs 330 pounds. I wonder what position he'll play.
Yeah, you don't miss him when he's on the field.
No, they're 6'3", 260-pound offensive lineman Trevor Dragon. You got to love the last name. Is headed to Westminster, and then they also had 2 previous players commit to college in December. Running back DJ Williams will play for Ball State, and defensive back Davion Pritchard will continue his career at the University of Pittsburgh. So, just mentioning. The Fitch program, they're sending players to a lot of schools.
Yeah, absolutely. Them. And I think Cheney probably sent the most players this year to the next level. And DJ Williams had a fantastic career running the ball. I think he has a Falcon teammate that's also going to Ball State with him. So, be good to already know somebody before you get there. And anytime you send someone to go play at the ACC level, you're doing something right at Pitt.
Oh, 100%. And, they've got a great coaching staff. Coach Narduzzi is a personal friend of mine. Yes, have they struggled a little bit, but he is doing a good job, and they will be back. Mark, jumping into... I'm actually going to send you this real quick, what I have up on my phone before I go over this. 2 Liberty football standouts headed to the next level because there's a whole list of different schools. Senior Dwayne Moody will continue his academic and football career at Coffeyville Community College. And then I believe there are 2 that are going there. So Moody, and I thought they had said 2, but they're not listing 2. Okay.
Yeah. This story only has one that you mentioned. We talked about Coffeyville. That's a powerhouse junior college program. And like you said about Pitt, Coach Simon, been a friend of mine for a long time, back to his journalistic days, and he has done a great job bringing that Liberty program, his alma mater, back to prominence.
And that's one of the more proud teams in Eric. Chet Allen was the coach there, took them to playoffs numerous times, but stepped down, is now helping at Mineral Ridge with Brian Shaner as the defensive coordinator, doing a great job. Mention real quick, Mark, Beaver local all-time passer headed to D1 program. Austin Klein will continue his football career at the University of Dayton. So
yeah, that is a FCS non-scholarship program, I believe, at Dayton. But it's an opportunity to play at the next level.
It is. And then jumping to Springfield and New Middletown, Colton Rourke officially committed his football career at Mercyhurst University. quite a few players, Mark, we were talking about earlier at Mercyhurst this year.
Yeah, you know what? I believe that's up in Erie, PA, and I believe they're a Division II program, so that is scholarship level at D2. And any chance you have an opportunity, he had a fantastic career at Springfield. They've been, one of the better teams in the Valley for about a decade now.
And they have. And, I wanted to, before we get off the air here, we've only got a couple more minutes. Everybody, you can obviously go to WKBN TV 27, WFMJ TV 21, and you can get more picks that are going to college. Mark, I wanted to ask you real quick about the Buckeyes, who have just done outstanding with the transfer portal. Your thoughts on that?
You know what? I saw a special today. They finished ranked 6th in the country in the transfer portal players they brought in. They brought in the number 1 quarterback and the number 1 running back and the number 1 safety available in the portal. It'll be interesting to see if Bill O'Brien remains the offensive coordinator. Rumor is he's down to one of 2 finalists for the job at Boston College, and we'll have to see if they fill that position with. But Coach Day said today he would not be calling plays. We'll see if that happens depending on who that offensive coordinator is.
Exactly. Yes. If they have a situation where they're not getting who they wanted, it will definitely change the situation. Just obviously so many people picking the Buckeyes as favorites. It's really early, but what are your thoughts on them having such a great team so fast?
They're going to have to figure out the quarterback spot, because it's going to be a transfer, whether it's an experienced freshman or it's the transfer from K-State, Will Howard. Their biggest question for me is relying on those 5 guys up front. If they can't figure that out, nothing else is going to matter.
Oh, well put. Well said, brother. Thank you so much for giving love to Lyman. Mark, thank you for being here. We'll definitely have you on again soon.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Have a good night. We will talk to you, everybody, next week. I'm your host, Matt Emch. This is Just Football. See you next week, everybody.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on